Next on Rugby Wrap-Up's MLR Weekly, California Legion's CEO Adam Frier, John Fitzpatrick of Rugby Morning, and Pat Clifton of the College Rugby Show on the College Rugby Corner. Rugby Wrap-Up's MLR Weekly brought to you by Sheehy Auto Stores. It's easy at Sheehy. The Pig and Whistle, New York City, the world's best rugby pub. And Lean and Limber, stretching your way to a healthier lifestyle.
There is a massive responsibility on the 23 that are privileged enough to step out on that field today.
Let's get it all started with our recurring segment, Rugby Morning's Coffee Break, with John Fitzpatrick calling in from the greater Los Angeles area. John, it is so great to see you again.
Matt, it sounds like you're really full of that Christmas cheer.
I am full of it, that's for sure. Anywho, John, what do you got for us?
Yeah, let's talk Rugby World Cup 2027 now that we know the pools are out. Pool E, France, Japan, USA, Samoa. Matt, I think it's time we start putting some expectations on the men's Eagles. I'm calling it. They got to win at least one match here. Maybe stay competitive in another two, get a bonus point, maybe against Japan, maybe squeak one against France, and then we squeak our way into the knockout round. How's that sound?
Maybe squeak one against France. Okay. All right.
Squeak a bonus point against France, bro.
A bonus point against France. No, that's not going to happen. But what match do you think we're going to win? We're in a pool with France, Japan, and Samoa, right? So which one of those matches, or how many of those matches, do you think we should win?
We need to beat Samoa. It's a different side that we're going to face in the Rugby World Cup versus the qualifying, no doubt about that. We'll have a couple reinforcements, guys coming back from injury. Sam Gala, hopefully a healthy AJ McGinty. I think there's a couple other difference makers. But Matt, we got to start putting expectations on this men's Eagles squad.
All right,
at the very least, a win against Samoa. Got to get it.
I think Samoa might be our best chance, but Samoa's got all these internationals that'll be playing for their team at that point. You know, even some of these guys that are aging, in their careers that now can go back and play for their original nation as per the new laws. So, the expectation that we should win a match in that round is to me not realistic. What else, John?
Yeah, speaking of men's Eagles, Matt, you may have seen this. Switching over to MLR, Paul Mullen has signed with Old Glory DC to add a little more depth, maybe a starter in the front row, given someone probably maybe won't be there.
Yeah, that name that may not be there is Jack Iscaro, right? Because he is with Stade Francais, and they are playing in the Challenge Cup right now, which is the second division of the Champions Cup. And I tuned in to watch this match because he did get some game time in the second half. And for 10 minutes, I thought I was having like a post-concussion syndrome thing because I'm watching this match and Stade Francais, who wears pink and is at home in their pink stadium with the pink flags and the pink goalposts and the pink seats, are playing Cardiff, who wears blue. And guess what? Stade Francais was in blue and Cardiff was in f***ing pink. What idiot decides these things? Are they purposely trying to confuse and alienate fans or just run the game into the ground? What is that? What is up? And it was a French broadcast, so I'm only picking up every other word. So it took like 10 to 15 minutes before I finally get a close-up of the logo on a Cardiff player, and he's in pink. Thanks for listening. What do I owe you for that?
Well, Matt, it sounds like Top 14 and Challenge Cup, Champions Cup officials aren't listening to their fan base, but you know who is listening to their fan base, Matt McCarthy?
Alex Magleby.
That's right. He's been going on a listening tour since he accepted that new position with MLR. If you haven't seen it on X, he's going around just, asking some fans for some feedback on certain things. One of the questions, Matt, I think this pertains to you. That's a big word. I think you know how to spell it. But they're asking about broadcasting, what fans would like to see differently, moments they like. So, Matt, I'm going to kick it to you. You're the broadcast expert here. What would you like to see differently with MLR broadcasts?
I think one thing we have to do is have the announcers at the ground, not in a remote studio. I mean, I get it. But I have been against this for a long time. I've done it. You can do it, but it's better at the ground. And I don't know how much money you're saving flying one of us announcers into an Indianapolis or an Austin, Texas, rather than have a regional team do Boston, Washington, Seattle, LA, Anaheim, San Diego, whatever that is, and then Chicago, Charlotte, right? Just have them at the ground, because there's so many little things that you don't see when you're just watching the same feed that you're watching at home. You don't see the expanse of the field. You don't see the players warming up. You don't see somebody trotting off and coming back from an HIA. You don't see them getting ready to come in. You have to call everything that you see on that screen rather than seeing defensive alignments, offensive alignments. All of it is, plus, you feel off the vibe of the stadium. So it's a better broadcast for the fan and for the broadcasters if they're at the ground. That's my one thing.
It's a great point, and I think that makes a lot of sense, having regional broadcast teams. But I guess the question there, Matt, is are there enough quality regional broadcast teams to be able to do that? Because it's going to cost money, right, to fly in people to go on the ground and broadcast from the game. And, with 2026 and hopefully beyond, it seems like there's a lot of tightening of the belts, trying to keep costs down. So how do you make that model work if you don't have strong broadcast teams in each of those markets?
I think we do have broadcasters that can handle this. I'm not going to name names.
Well, Matt,
it would be a conflict of interest of sorts for me to name names.
Excellent. Well, look, some fans shared some really cool ideas. Some I think would take a little bit of money, like lighting up the touchline when someone steps out. I think that's pretty cool. But I would say,
what idiot came up with that?
Johnny Lewis, brilliant.
Johnny Lewis
brilliant.
Films, who edits this program. We got you in there, Johnny. How you doing? Thank you, John. We are out of time on this segment, but we'll be back with Adam Frier, the CEO of the California Legion. Yes, they exist. They're alive, and they're in the league. And we got the CEO right after this.
Mercy me, that could have put him in Ward 4.
I hope not, Bill. That's a maternity ward.
Need a great price on a new vehicle? Sheehy makes it easy. Easy Price shows you our lowest prices on the Mid-Atlantic's largest selection. Find your best price online or at any of our 31 dealerships.
It's easy at Sheehy. Sheehy.com.
If you're in New York City and want to watch some great rugby, have some great food, and some great times, go to the world's best rugby pub, the Pig and Whistle on West 36th Street.
And we're back with Adam Frier, the CEO of the California Legion. It's been a while since you've been on. Adam, welcome to MLR Weekly.
Matt, good to be back. It has been a while. I think it was back even in Gilitinis days that we chatted, but we've been chatting off record and offline for a long time, mate. And as I said to you on my return email when you offered me to come back on the show, I appreciate all you do for the sport here, mate, and doing a great job and hopefully continuing on the journey with us.
I see what you're doing. You're buttering me up before I start asking you the hard questions, right? I know what you're doing. Strategy. You're a hooker. You're always strategizing. But I also appreciate you coming on because I know that you just came from meetings, and that's why you're sitting outside in the warmth and sunshine of California with a Christmas tree behind you while I'm freezing my ass off here in New York. But, I appreciate you making the effort and going and jumping through the hoops. You had a great career in Australia, 25 caps with the Wallabies. Professionally, you had 102 Super Rugby caps, beginning in 2000, mostly with the Waratahs, sandwiched between the Brumbies and Melbourne Storm, and you finished with Randwick in 2019. That's a lot of rugby for a hooker. So, first off, congratulations on a great rugby career.
Yeah, I certainly enjoyed it. And I look back on those times with great memories. I did play at Randwick till I was 20, and I love that club, love where I'm from. But I'm just actually sitting in the same spot here, not to go too far back, but when we first arrived here in LA, it was during COVID. And this actually used to be our workbench in 2020, this exact same table. So you think back from December 2020 to where we are now, it's been 5 years. I consider all the stuff that I've probably done previously as part of my journey, but probably the last 5 years that I've really invested in the US side of things in rugby. And there's a certain perception around MLR and a view of where the sport is here. It's grown up so much. And if you look at sort of what's happening with our squad, with our coaches, even with our venues, which is sort of a little bit of the unknown, there's been a lot that's been invested into California rugby, in particular here in SoCal. And I'm pretty proud of that achievement too. We've done some pretty good things during that time, that last 5 years.
All right. Well, things have certainly changed considerably since, you started in the MLR. I mean, it was with the Gilitinis, and you're now the CEO of the California Legion, and you were the GM of the Gilitinis, and you inherited a structure that was one of more money and international stars, and now you're making that adjustment to the new philosophy in the league, which is basically to help develop USA Rugby players, and with a much more strict salary cap or salary structure and payment structure. So I just want to ask you right out of the gate, what's the big difference for you, aside from the difference in the role from GM to CEO and having to combat or deal with the new philosophy?
I think a lot's changed, Matt. And yes, it is a 16 competition. Yes, the ability to recruit foreigners now is a lot tighter, and investing in the US. And it's a deliberate strategy by the MLR to ensure that we're investing more into US talent. That's probably been the main thing. And budgets, caps, salaries, expenditure aside, you now look at this thing from a business point of view. And, you can always spend money to put a team together and win. But just as much as is putting a great product on the field is important, being a sustainable business is also just as, if not more important. I'm always directing all these communications and comms to the fans and to our players. But, for us to be sustainable and to be able to be a team that's going to be here and last and stand the test of time, I think you have to do things differently now. And I feel like this is probably the first step in a journey around building out a club that's not just going to represent something for the next 1 or 2 years, but something that can represent and be, every kid's got a Legion badge on their jersey, or when we talk about rugby in America, there's a really strong state. California can be number one. And you've got to remember also, in rugby around the world, many teams do play as states. Let's not forget that. And this is a new sort of venture for us, and it's sort of hard to understand from a US standpoint. But we are going to represent the fourth biggest economy on earth. California participation and what it is, it's an absolute hotbed in the Bay. It's a hotbed in San Diego. LA rugby is flying. There are so many little mini villages and communities coming together. But for now, we want to be the brand that takes them forward. We want to be an aspirational brand. We want to do extraordinary things. And we are going to now represent the state. And it's been a challenge from many angles from my end, logistically and operationally. But I just think the real key messages are, LA's been able to put on a really good show in many of the years, whether it's from Gilitinis and what's happened in the last 2 years. San Diego have done incredible work in the community. And, if they're the team and they're the people that have laid the foundations, and they've built a really good, strong foundation for this team to grow on, and actually still be in San Diego and spread the rugby gospel across California. It's a really good fit. It's the right fit, and it's a way we can be sustainable for the years to come, which is really important now, as you can see with the teams contracting from what it was to now 6, which I still don't think is a bad thing. And I've seen that Scott Lawrence has come on record saying, from a high performance point of view, I think I even said this on your show, it's actually a good idea actually consolidating and then growing again. And there's examples across other sports which have done it. And in particular the MLS. It's just how we respond in the next 6 months as a group of owners and take it forward. It's really, really important.
What can you tell us about players and venues?
We've got a squad of 32. We've got 29 players that are signed, sealed and delivered.
Okay.
We've got a good group of San Diego lads. We've got a good group of RFCLA players. But this is a new team, new venture, new journey, new direction. We have to be competitive. And looking back at some of the squads that are being assembled at the moment, like, my gosh, it's a great competition for the fan. Chicago are going to be great. Seattle are going to be really good, well coached. And New England have recruited really well. And even if you think of Anthem, Anthem last year was, it was the running joke of what it was. Now, you bring Mark Carney in, a really good operator and general manager, Scott being more involved. they're going to be really, really good. And then Old Glory DC were probably the big improvers last year. So no game's going to be an easy game. So
it's a good thing you brought them up, because I was, if you didn't bring up Old Glory, Paul Sheehy and Chris Dunleavy would be calling me in a second. So,
well, and you say those names like they're part of the fabric of rugby. They are. And look, the guys at Old Glory, Richard's a great operator. I know they're very well coached. They're going to be great. And if you look at the NFL and you look at other sports, the parity piece of actually things being even going into seasons, like who can it be? If you looked at the teams last year, you knew who the top 6 were going to be. And I feel like this year, players have done a really good job. GMs have done a really good job of getting a really balanced team. This year, with the new entity representing California, brought with it a lot of problems around stadia. And those problems aren't new to us. Finding grass fields and high-quality stadiums in Southern California is tough. But this season, we're spreading the game across California for this 1 year. It's a unique year.
Because you also have that FIFA issue.
Exactly right. So what FIFA tend to do really well is book out fields years in advance. And with the FIFA World Cup happening here, everyone wants to be part of this. The sunshine and this climate.
Sunshine and Christmas trees.
Yes, we always love. Every day is Christmas Day here. But we really had 3 dates in Southern California. We had 3 dates and 3 potential venues. That's an entire year.
Wow.
So we worked really hard with the MLR operators around scheduling, which is no easy beat. It's a really, really tough environment just to get what you want from a scheduling point of view. We had one opportunity to play in San Diego. We had one opportunity to play in LA. There are literally no grounds in Los Angeles to play on for this year. And we have one opportunity to play in Orange County as venues and cities, which will represent really our Southern California leg. So we got 3 games in Southern California. Those cities are now confirmed, being LA, Orange County, and San Diego. And for this new entity and with these new fan groups, it probably is an ideal setup. It's not ideal. It's San Diego fans and LA fans just get the one match. But with Orange County being wedged in the middle of both LA and San Diego, it does give LA fans and San Diego fans 2 really good opportunities, and some even 3 opportunities to go and see high quality rugby and see their Legion play. But again, that's the only result we could get. And again, we're very grateful for that result. We're happy with it. But ultimately, there's no plan B. We'd love to be playing more games in San Diego and LA.
Yeah.
And more just even in Southern California in general. But there's only three windows we can play, and we've been able to get those 3.
So are you going north?
Then there's the opportunity. And I think, with that being the schedule of what it is, we've always said and we've always wanted to be playing in Northern California. Like, if you think of the Sacramento Express and think of schools like Cal, St. Mary's, it is just an incredibly vibrant, awesome place to be a rugby fan. So we're going to be playing, 1 game in Sacramento, 1 game in San Francisco, and it is a real festival of rugby we're going to be spreading across the state. It's a big state, and it's a huge operational lift, but we are going to be representing, as I've said a couple of times, it's one of the biggest rugby populations on the planet. It's one of the 4th biggest economy. It's a really good opportunity for us. We don't have that hometown edge, but we do have almost like a Savannah Bananas type of approach where we're going to be taking the road on and really embracing it. And it's the cards will be dealt, but it's also a really good opportunity to grow the game in California. And, it's one of those ones where the season will start in SoCal, it'll evolve to North Cal, and, the foundations have been laid in SoCal from an MLR point of view. And it's up to now spread the rugby gospel all the way up to North, and hopefully it will work, and we're really confident it will, because each city is going to have one opportunity, sometimes 2 or 3, to be watching a game of rugby, and hopefully most of those fans are there.
Well, it's also important that people know that there's a FIFA situation going on here where all the fields are booked, and you can't play rugby without a pitch.
No. Well, and also we want to play on pitches that, no disrespect to when it was playing on turf, like we really make a very conscious effort to play on grass for our players. There's the FIFA issue. There's also the USL issue as well, Matt. And there's also, when there's FIFA issues around NCAA stadia availability, and then that flows on the USL, it then leaves it to the MLR. So no FIFA, no USL, NCAA schedules all locked in. Very easy to plan. But the FIFA issue is real. But in saying that, that's not disrespecting the way that we're going to approach being in these cities. We'll be in Orange County 1 day a week. We'll be spending a significant amount of time in San Diego doing live training sessions, open training sessions.
Where does everybody live?
In where? At this stage, El Segundo is our home. It's in Los Angeles here. It's somewhat of a sporting mecca. I love the story when we first started training on a little field, Campus El Segundo. You'll see all the Lamborghinis and all the Maseratis driving into the Lakers training center. We are literally across the road from where the Lakers train. We are 2 doors down from where the Kings train. We're a 2-minute drive from where the Chargers train.
A cool environment.
Little city, yeah. And we get to see the LA Sparks have now joined here. We are so proud to be part of El Segundo and hopefully be here for many years to come. We've got a great partnership with the city. We've got a high performance venue that's elite. Our players love it. It's got a good history here, so we'll be based out of LA.
All right. Well, Adam, unfortunately, we're out of time because we could talk. Right. We could keep going on and on. But this is important information, just the brass tacks for fans to actually exhale and understand what's going on and the lift that you guys had in getting this thing off the ground. So I really appreciate your time, and we'll talk more. But I really appreciate you coming on and giving us some clarity.
Unreal, Matt. As I started with, I'll finish the same way. Thanks for your support of rugby, mate. You do a fantastic job. Love your work.
Thank you, buddy. All right. Safe travels, and we'll talk to you soon.
Right.
All right. We'll be right back with Pat Clifton on the College Rugby Corner after this.
Digs like a demented mole there.
It is eating season. Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's. At Health Enhanced Foods, we got 17 baking mixes to be able to help enhance your holiday meals. Whether you're gluten-free, you need ketogenic, whether you are low FODMAP, whatever your special dietary need is, we have a baking mix for you. Go to healthenhancedfoods.com. Go ahead and use coupon code RugbyOdds to be able to get 25% off your first order. Let's get this season going. And honestly, whatever Matt's about to say next, just ignore it. It's not even worth it.
You need your cleats? You need them tomorrow? If you order today by 3 p.m. New York time or noon LA time, they can have them to you tomorrow. Young, old, male, female, if you're playing on turf, if you're playing on grass, if you're playing in the rain, you're playing in the heat, they've got you covered. RugbyNow.com. Go there now. This is the Rugby Odds, where an unlikely pundit panel of a wordsmith, a WWE legend, a rugby star, and a supermodel scour the globe, seeking best bets and bad behavior. Are you not entertained?
Going in like a wildcat.
Okay, we're back with the College Rugby Corner and Patrick Clifton of the College Rugby Show. Pat, we got to get to some business that we were dated on, and when the show came out last week, and bring us up to speed on what's with the Wheeling University rugby situation.
We went a little early last week. Wheeling, they had some issues. Ken Pape, the head coach, fired last Monday, and 7 players suspended. When we went live, or when we recorded, at that time, Wheeling was still committed to coming to play in the national championship. The next day, they pulled out, and we weren't able to make any changes before air. So it turns out Northern Iowa filled in and went and played Southern Nazarene down in Houston, Texas. So make sure that there was still a championship game, which, what a gangster move by the University of Northern Iowa women and Megan Flanagan, their head coach, and a great group of warriors who raised the money last second and within 5 days flew to Houston and put their big girl pants on and went up against Celeste Uatafe and Southern Nazarene. And she did score 5 tries, and they did win the national championship game quite handily, 82-21. But you and I went down there and scored 3 tries.
You and me?
Huh?
You and me went down there?
You and I kept thinking that Lady Gaga song, you and I, that lyric. Yeah. Anyways, Macy Grace, freshman at UNI. Remember her name. Put it in your memory bank. Could be a future Erica Koulibaly. She was like a wrestling champion, just a freshman. I'm telling you right now, she can tackle and she can run. So put that in your memory bank. But that was the Division I championship. SNU 82-21. Talesi Uatafe MVP, 5 tries. And then we've crowned 3 other national champions. Coast Guard won Division II, 29-24 over Vassar in the semis, and 51-12, huge over Eau Claire in the championship. Northeastern blowout, 44-10 over Colorado in the D1AA final. And in Division III, it was a Colorado School of Mines, 38-29 over Endicott. Piper Lee was fantastic for them. All right, on the men's side last weekend, we had semifinals in Division I and Division II. Bowling Green won this one in overtime, 26-21. Huge news to return back to the national championship game. And then Tennessee, the Volunteers in Knoxville, 35-10 over Texas A&M.
All right.
So we've got Tennessee, Bowling Green, all college rugby show orange in the national championship game, D1AA. Men's D1 semis, Bonnie's 33-8 over Walsh, and the Queens nipping Belmont Abbey 19-15.
Wow.
Move on to the final. So we got Queens and Bonnie's in the final. Bonnie's looking for their second natty. Now this weekend we got men's nationals, right? So those D1 championships, Queens versus Bonnie's, Tennessee versus Bowling Green, but also Division II and Division III. They still have their semifinals left to play. Those are going to be on Friday down at Houston, SaberCat Stadium. We got Slippery Rock, New Mexico Tech, Grand Valley State in Chicago. We got Holy Cross and Franciscan. And then the D1AA will crown those champions Saturday. And then Sunday we'll crown D2 and D3 champions. We also have the bowl game, the big Lone Star Bowl, between Fairfield and Texas Tech on Saturday.
All right, so Pat, you still have your obligation to our partners at the Rugby Odds to give us 2 picks.
Bowling Green to upset Tennessee and win a national championship. I'm going to pick the Mazzarellas, and then I'm going to pick Queens to win their first ever D1 national championship and beat St. Bonaventure.
Wow.
That's a big pick because Bonnie's is looking strong. But
you know what? I'll take a piece of that action, man. I will take that. I'll take the Bonnies and Dave LaFlamme any day of the week. But it's not.
Dave LaFlamme coaches Brown.
I will take the Bonnies any day of the week. Why? Because Tui Osborne used to coach there.
And Danny Neighbors does now.
And Danny Neighbors does just now. Yes.
Yeah.
And like a good neighbor, I'm rooting for Neighbors. Woo! Woo!
Maybe a bit of a homer pick. Great state of New York, too.
Sure, absolutely. And we are out of time. I want to thank you, Mr. Pat Clifton of the College Rugby Show on the College Rugby Corner. I want to thank John Fitzpatrick of Rugby Morning, and I want to thank Mr. Adam Frier of the California Legion. And thank you for tuning in. Please check out the Rugby Odds. It's a good one this week. Hit that subscribe button on YouTube, sign up for our weekly newsletter, and please join our American Red Cross blood donor team.
Well, I wouldn't like to sit through that again.